Organizational Culture and Pay Transparency by Carrington Paterno. Overview of the case. In today's workplace, social media has changed a lot about how people share information. In the past, pay was thought to be private, but now it's easier for workers to find out how much they make on the internet. This change has given workers more power, which makes them feel more sure about talking about and negotiating their pay. The case highlights that only about 36% of Americans feel comfortable discussing their pay, which shows that even though transparency is increasing, many people are still hesitant to openly talk about their salaries. Overall, employees now have access to salary ranges and pay comparisons. There is a noticeable shift in power from employers to employees. The younger generations are more open to discussing pay, and new laws are beginning to require salary transparency. My position on salary transparency. I think that being open about salaries is mostly a good thing because it makes things fair and closes the information gap between workers. Employees are more likely to feel valued and treated fairly by the company when they know how much other people make. This can make people trust each other more and make their relationships at work stronger. But I also think that there can be drawbacks to this completely. Being completely open can be hard. If employees do not know why there are pay differences, like because of performance, experience, or responsibilities, it can cause anger and fights. Because of this, I think the best way to do things is to be fair, like sharing salary ranges instead of exact salaries. From my own experience at work, I've seen how comparing pay can either motivate employees or cause problems, especially in the hospitality industry, depending on how fair and open the system is. Overall, I think salary transparency promotes fairness and trust, helps employees understand their value, but can also create conflict if not managed properly. Organizational culture. Transparency is very much related to the culture of an organization, especially when it comes to being open, people-oriented, and focused on results. People orientation is about how fair and how employees are treated, which is the same as paying people fairly. Outcome orientation means rewarding good work, which means that employees expect their pay to reflect what they do. Transparency also helps an organization be open by encouraging communication and honesty. This changes how employees think about leadership and whether they think the company is really fair and honest over time. Impact on managers. Managers are changing how they do their jobs because of salary transparency. It is now expected that managers will clearly explain and justify why some employees are paid more than others. This means you need to be better at talking to people and have more organized ways to rate their work. Also, managers need to make sure that pay decisions are fair, consistent, and in line with both the company's goals and the law. As more people become open and honest, leaders need to change their styles and be more responsible and open. So managers now have to justify pay decisions, have stronger communication skills, and evaluations must be consistent and must follow the laws. My manager personally has to make sure everyone in our work is pulling their weight and has the correct amount of hours because we tip pool. The role of social media. Social media is a big part of making salaries more open. Employees can now share and compare salary information on different platforms, which closes the gap in information that used to exist between employees and employers. This gives workers the power to ask for better pay and stand up for themselves. Social media also changes what people think is fair pay. Even if information isn't always 100% correct, it still affects how workers feel about their pay in their company. Overall, provides access to salary data, empowers employees to negotiate, shapes the expectations of fair pay and increases accountability for organizations. The drawbacks of full transparency. There are both pros and cons to being open and honest. When company salaries, employees may feel like they are not being paid enough, especially if they do not understand why the pay is different. In teams, it's not always clear what each person has done, which can lead to the confusion. This can make people angry, less motivated, or even more likely to leave their jobs. Also, when organizations try to be completely open, they may run into legal or administrative problems that makes it hard to find out the right balance between being fair and rewarding the best workers. The case also shows that in collaborative settings, it's not always clear which person's contribution is, which makes it harder for workers to fully understand why pay differences exist. Overall, the drawbacks for full transparency can lead to resentment and conflict. Performance differences are not always clear, may decrease motivation or increase turnover, creates legal and administrative challenges. My final thoughts are salary transparency is becoming more common due to the influence of social media and changes in employees' expectations. While it offers important benefits such as fairness, trust, and accountability, it also creates challenges for managers and organizations. The key is finding the balance between transparency and flexibility. Organizations must be open enough to build trust while still maintaining the ability to reward performance efficiency. Overall, transparency is reshaping organizational culture and how businesses operate. Thank you for listening.